All right, guys, so this is part two of what to ask before signing a lease. If you haven't checked out part one, be sure to check it out because I went over all the lease types that you should be concerned about or that you may encounter. So, this series, I guess, is a two-part series, is about, event space owners and potential event space owners. Before you sign the lease, before you sign that dotted line, what are some of the major questions that you need to ask? Because the last thing that you want is to get locked into a bad lease and it drains you of all your money and limits your business. Okay, so in this video, we're breaking down some key components of the things that you have to ask and getting an event space lease. I want you guys to avoid the costly mistakes that I see people making every daggone day. In order for you to make sure that this commercial space is right for you and your business. If you don't know who I am, my name is Z from Build a Business You Love, and I teach you guys how to start, operate, and manage an event space business. And I also have a course that's out, guys, the Ultimate Event Space Course 2.0, that teaches you how to start, operate, and manage an event space. All right, child. So we're going to first be talking about zoning and permits and C of O. Can you legally operate a business there? That's the question. This is what you have to ask. Is this space zoned for event space use? It's probably not. So you're going to have to figure out how you can get it zoned. And I'm here to tell you that every county is different, every city is different, in every state, okay? So you have to ask them, will I need special permits, and who's responsible for obtaining the permit? Because it could be the planning department, the buildings department, the fire department, right? So you also have to ask, are there any noise restrictions or curfews that I should be aware of in your county? The next important set of questions that you need to ask is about occupancy and limits. So you have to ask about occupancy and safety requirements. So how many people are legally allowed to be in this space at one time? And what fire safety and ADA compliance requirements does this space need to meet before I'm able to be in full operation? In my course, I tell you some tips and tricks about this because they try to put you in a certain category and it can throw everything off. Next, you have to ask, what lease terms and hidden costs are there? So, what's included in a lease and what additional costs should I expect? So, things like utilities, who handles maintenance and repairs? Are there any annual rent increases? If so, can we negotiate that? Can you sublease or rent out the space to others? So these are some hit questions that you need to ask. Another set of questions you need to ask is about parking and accessibility. Just because it's parking there does not mean that you can use that parking, especially if it's on a complex or in sort of like a mini mall situation where all of the spaces are designated per commercial property. You have to ask the right questions because the zoning and the C of O, not the zoning, the C of O can determine the amount of people that are allowed into your space. But one of the things they consider to get the C of O is the parking. The next set of questions, guys, you need to ask is if you plan on having an alcohol license or getting an alcohol license or a food license, guess who has to sign for that? The landlord. So if your business plan is set up so that you're getting income from food or from alcohol, the landlord has to be on board. So you need to ask about restrictions for alcohol, for food, and if they're going to sign off on it because they're going to need to. Now, if you want to get an event space, a lot of times the space is not going to come already made, right? Sometimes you have to do some renovations, some customizations, right? And doing so, you have to. What renovations and customization rules do they have? Can I do stuff like add fixtures? Can I take out a wall? Can I add a wall? What do I need to do that? All of those questions. And if you invest in these upgrades, how do you have to leave the premises when you leave, right? The same as or similar to when you get an apartment, how they want you to have it the same way as how you got it, that kind of thing. The next set of questions you need to ask is about event hours and noise restrictions. A lot of communities have noise restrictions and hours on which they can operate based on the community guidelines and ordinances. So you have to ask, what is there in the community that I need to know about before signing this lease, because it can affect the way that you run your business. Now, this one is kind of a shaky one because you kind of have to figure out a way to ask without asking, but still ask. Exit strategy. What happens if you need to leave the lease early? If something happens where you need to break the lease, right? What could you do? What penalties will be enforced? You need to know this, right? And you also need to know if you need to, or how you need to negotiate for early termination, a clause in there to protect you. Because, like I always say, the commercial lease is the landlord's lease. All right, just to sum everything up, guys, before you take action, make sure you protect yourself and your business. Before you sign the lease, make sure you ask those questions. Make sure you read the fine print. Even consult a professional if needed, right? Because a bad lease can break your business. If you're serious about learning how to start an event space the right way, the realistic way, check out my course, the Ultimate Event Space Course 2.0, where I break down everything from leasing, funding, contracts, zoning, marketing, and so much more. Drop a comment below that you like the video, or drop a comment that you're ready, drop a comment that you're excited. Whatever it is, give me some digital currency. I do appreciate it, and it does help my algorithm. Be sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate, you spending your time, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Take care.